Alright, time for another draftphysics.com, debatephysics.com, also video presentation. Kind of a plea to Bruce Yeany let's just pretend he had some independent thinking student in one of his high school classes, I think. Or grammar, well, who knows? High school, I think. Anyway, they just sat there and watched the experiment and asked the simple question, So he did numerous experiments of this type, where there's an elastic band between two objects, and what's going to happen basically is the objects, are going to crash into each other. So they're pulled a set distance apart. We'll all agree that their velocities are going to be controlled based on momentum, and that, let's say this is a 4 mass and it will be going 1 velocity, and this is a 1 mass and it will be going 4 velocity. All right, now the simple truth is that if we were just to do crude mathematics, we could say this is 16 joules and this was 4 joules. We're just going to forget the half crap for now. But it doesn't really matter. We know it's 4 times the energy is in this object, because of the velocity. Well, then why did you write it wrong? So just pretend I'm I'm a high school student. Sometimes I make a mistake. All right. So it's 4x is the important part. This has 4x the energy. By kinetic energy's formula, and clearly when they collide, the explosion, so to speak, the collision isn't going to go anywhere. All right, all the energy is just going to end up balancing in the end, and the two objects are going to remain at the point of collision. In this case, which will be somewhere like here. So I didn't get that right either. Anyway. So there's no evidence that this has 4 times the ability to do work, because it certainly isn't going to do work on this object. Even though it's got 4 times its energy, it's not going to win. It's going to show that where'd all the kinetic energy go? And this also happens with ballistic pendulums and levers and all the other examples I could give, where the thing that's supposed to be doing all this work, kinetic energy, does no work, and somehow all the energy is lost to some dissipation as deformation or heat or something as the excuse. So in this example, where's the possible excuse? Now I could also argue that if you just reverse this circumstance in the sense that you were launching these objects, you could also prove that the same force won't give them the same momentum. Because lighter objects are harder to push, in the sense that it's hard to get all the energy into them, because the fact is they leave the mechanism producing the force, they leave it before the mechanism, the spring for example, is finished giving away its momentum. So when you launch a light thing with a spring, the spring oscillates a lot more than when you launch a heavy thing. Spring oscillates a lot less. An important thing to understand when doing all these kinds of collision experiments and launching experiments, that springs don't give back energy evenly. They give more energy to heavy things than they will give to a light thing. Just a fact. So, I'd love to hear the explanation. It's plainly right in front of our face. Momentum is perfectly rational. It works perfect. Kinetic energy makes no sense at all. You did the experiment. And if instead of using a rubber band, you use some other mechanism, and you actually gave these objects the same kinetic energy, do you think the same kinetic energy is the collision would stay in the same place? Well, we know it won't. Because we gave them the same kinetic energy in different mass ratios. Obviously, the thing with the greater momentum is going to win. Momentum always wins in a collision. That's a kind of like the law of the lever. It's sort of a fact, and it's in complete contradiction to 1/2 mv squared having any meaning. So I could bring up rockets, okay? I mean, rockets, you can calculate the kinetic energy of the thrust, and it'll mean nothing, because the only thing that's going to move the rocket is the equal and opposite reaction to the momentum. So could you explain that one? I mean, you're a teacher. You should be willing to answer questions. These are really honest questions. Been asking them for years. Been trying to get some physicists to man up and, bite the bullet and defend the theory, okay, that I'm clearly claiming doesn't have any evidence supporting it. All right, any credible evidence. So I wish Bruce Yeany would be a good teacher and explain to me why his own experiment isn't decisive evidence proving kinetic energy is meaningless, because it can't ever do any work. And it's meaningless because it's a fable. It's not real. There's no reason to square velocities. The universe runs on momentum. Okay, so that's the end of that part of the video. The rest will be me answering comments and such. Yeah. Not much to respond to in the way of comments, but, there's something. So this one's on kinetic energy, so we'll do this one first. So this is some anyway, all these, troll accounts. Anyway, no accountable accounts. It's so easy to understand why twice the spring compression, which is twice the weight, is 4x the energy. So it's easy to understand somehow how putting something on a scale, you get 1 unit of energy, and then you do exactly the same thing, and now you have 4 units of energy. He's saying it's easy to understand. Right there, you're just mocking yourself. Okay. Take your scale and press it down half the maximum value. Then continue to press it all the way to the maximum value. Yes, we know how much weight is weight. 2 pounds weighs twice as much as 1 pound. It's twice the pressure, not 4 times the pressure. All right, you notice that you have to push harder to accomplish the second compression. Yes, duh, because you need the first compression to help you do the second compression. Okay, assuming Hooke's law. So, and again, Hooke's law directly contradicts what you're saying. There's absolutely no latitude in Hooke's law defending any notion of kinetic energy. So it's just nonsense to say Hooke thought there was an mv squared, because he clearly didn't. All right, it's 3 times harder. The average force needed 3 times as high. Just this says you, okay? You have zero evidence that 2 pounds weighs 4 pounds. Okay, why wouldn't it be 3 times the energy? It's not 3 times harder, so you say so. Not true. Okay. Oh, and you still don't understand when Feynman or any other physicist talks about momentum, it's a vector quantity. So again, all motion is a vector. It is, again, just proving what an imbecile you are to say that something's going 60 miles an hour in speed. And somehow that's not 60 miles an hour in velocity. Yeah, it is. Okay. Then you can conserve both kinetic energy and momentum. So we know this never happens, because the simple truth is you can convert newtons into joules. And it's just a fact that the statement defining their energies will not balance. If a lever launches the one mass at only 1.4, it will lose momentum. Okay, it's a vector quantity, so it's just too silly. Okay, then you can serve both. Okay, no, you can't. If you want evidence for quantum entanglement, see Bell's test. So again, it's not evidence. His test is not evidence in the first place, and it's just about random numbers and how far you can go. And the point is Bell's theory was altered. It used to be he started with a 2 and they converted it into a 1. So it's not even that it was consistent, this theorem of his. But the silly test is the silly test. You're claiming you can see a photon here, and then 10 feet from here you can see the same photon. I'm saying you never did that in your life, asshole. You people are just ridiculous. So go ahead, believe believe an experiment that claims it can do these preposterous things. Go ahead, I can't stop you. But don't expect me to say, oh, that convolutedly complex experiments prove something, because they don't. Yeah, and again, you can't even describe a two-slit experiment accurately. The very physicists doing those experiments can't even explain a two-slit experiment. Can't describe it accurately. More button is what I want. Okay. So this is some other character, John S. Tikabafishi. All right. I'm not convinced that 6 hours is sufficient to replace hundreds of years of scientific progress. So this is idiotic. It's not about progress. We know that most of the progress was trial and error, not theory. So right there, you're just showing you're a pathetic liar. Okay, that you don't understand. That's how most of the progress happened. It wasn't some theory. Somebody had the theory, and then all of a sudden they found it. It took 7 years for, is it Ampere, to find radio waves. So even though he knew they were there, it took him 7 years to find them. But anyway, obviously talking physics doesn't take hundreds of years to explain what we have learned, what is decisive evidence, and it might take hours to explain something like how the Hadron Collider works. It could probably take hours to properly explain how LIGO works, because it's full of all kinds of deceptions, like the fact that it's bouncing the photons back and forth 1,800 times. Yeah, that's going to be reliable. You've crashed into a mirror 1,800 times, and you're going to tell me, oh no, I didn't bend the ruler. No, it's not bent at all. Sure it isn't. Okay, well, anyway. Let's just tackle your arguments. Well, you're not going to do that. You're just going to do this ridicule thing, you petty weasel. Anyway, you start by claiming that conventional science never dropped 4 pounds 1 foot and 1 pound 4 feet. Yeah, really important. Leibniz claimed those are the same energy. This impact energy is the same. All right, so even though momentums are 2 to 1, somehow it's going to have the same impact energy. And as I just pointed out, every time there's a claim that kinetic energy exists in something and it has more energy, that energy doesn't show up. It never does any work. It doesn't move a rocket. It doesn't move anything ever. It doesn't move a ballistic pendulum. Okay. Whatever that experiment is supposed to prove. Well, so I guess you don't pay much attention. So you watch the one video and that's as far as it goes. So, yeah, there'll be lots of things you won't understand, like Eddington writing in his journal. I was expecting 10,000 stars per glass slide, and I got 1,000, indicating a 90% degrade in the quality of the data. Oh, that's not important. Okay. And then go on to call modern physics Clouzosian. I'm calling the scientists Clouzosian. They clearly jump. All right, I mean, dark matter. You don't think they just jumped? There was no evidence that this is a real thing, that there's a special matter that just creates gravity. It doesn't do anything else. It's invisible in every other respect, except it makes gravity. Oh, come on. That's not jumping the evidence. That's not Clouseau science. Oh, fuck you. Cute metaphor, but bold claims require bold... Oh, amazing shit. You're the one with all the bold claims, entangled particles. So there's some special, infinitely speedy force that allows two particles to know each other's condition. That's not a bold fucking claim. Amazing. These people are so dishonest. You are such duplicitous hippo-fucking-crits. Oh, God damn it. Or require bold evidence, not cartoon analogies. Well, it's not a cartoon analogy. It's an absolute fact that there's credible science and incredible science. And again, the Eddington experiment made Einstein famous. And you think it's credible that in his own journal, he points out, I got 10% of the data because everything went wrong. And on top of that, he says, I wouldn't stake my life on these results. And yet, 4 months later, whatever it was, New York Times headline, Einstein proven right. Do you think that's credible science? Huh. Yeah, and the fact that we've been in space now for over 50 years, plenty of technology, 400 times better resolution, 400 times easier to do the experiment, 400 times easier, and you don't need an eclipse, and it only takes 5 minutes, and they've never done it. That's credible physics? That's science looking for the truth? No, that's science evading the truth desperately. All right, anyway. 1, everything is push. How do you argue any other thing? I'm just saying that that's the default reasonable statement, is to say, well, if I was going to make a universe and there's a mechanism, what can I make it out of? Wooey poles are easy collisions. Oh yeah, collisions, really easy. So you've reinvented Newton's laws by declaring there's no such thing as pull. Well, I don't know what reinvented means. I've already pointed out that I would phrase Newton's laws differently, because, especially the third law, because clearly things in the third law are just exchanging, momentum. Only push. But wait, isn't gravitational attraction a classic pull force? So again, see, this is so bizarre. So he can't imagine that there could be energy in the universe, and the fact that it's on the outside, it's going to push towards the inside. So he can't imagine the light bulb in reverse. That it's not possible to fill something with pressure and then put something in it and watch it get squeezed by the push. Right? So I put a balloon in a chamber, and then I pump air into it, and the balloon contracts. That's not conceivable as a mechanism to this guy. Okay. Your explanation that gravity is just delayed push from an imbalance of force sounds creative. Well, this is just patronizing and a waste of time. We don't care about what it sounds like. The argument is it works. The argument is it works. And the only real question is, do you have any evidence that electrons and protons aren't in fact dragged to a halt? That is, they don't. Like, there's no electrons flying off the sun and hitting us. The only place the electrons can fly off of and hit us is from plasma. So it has to be ejected by an atom at much closer proximity. So no electron flies through space and hits something. No proton flies through space and hits something. Just helium. You need the minimum of a helium nucleus. Now, if that's an absolute truth, well, are you willing to concede that, oh yeah, so drag does happen? All right, like sci-fi creative. General relativity, so this is just nonsense, right? General relativity isn't a theory. It's not a mechanism. It's a statement about some inverse square law that Newton had already invented. So here you talk about reinventing. What did Einstein add? There's no addition of anything. He didn't state anything. He just says it's a magical wooey force. There's nothing extra. Okay, predicts gravitational lensing. So, it's too stupid on its face to say that's what predicts gravitational lensing. If obviously you have some force that's moving things into planets, it's just a question. Does it affect light or doesn't it affect light? Einstein's contribution is saying it's twice as affected. That light is somehow the lightest, fastest thing in the universe is somehow twice as bent as every other material object. And that's the part that, the Eddington fraud experiment. Okay, time dilation and GPS drift accurately. So again, the GPS thing is another lie. GPS does not do Einstein's mathematics to figure out any of this shit, so it's just a lie. It could be 50% off, could be 70% off. Who the fuck knows? Because nobody bothers, because all they do is match the clocks. That's all they do. They don't sit there and try to figure out how heavy the satellite is, how fast it's moving, any of that crap. They just say, how much is it off? Well, turn the dial. Your model, no math, no testable prediction. So bullshit, there's no math. Okay, MV equals energy. There you go. Right there. And that all this stuff does have a mass, every bit of it. Just metaphors and finger pointing. So just lies. Okay, obviously the simulation was shown. So fuck you, liar. All right, force bits move at the speed of light and stick to matter. So not a difficult stretch, really. Okay, so force is now sticky particles traveling at sea. I'm saying, obviously, there's something traveling at the speed of light. Do you understand that all the forces are moving at the speed of light? So what? They're nothing moving at a speed? So a nothing can move at a speed? I mean, by your own theory, do you think that really makes any sense? I have a nothing magical essence thing. The magical essence thing can only go the speed of light. Yeah, too silly, fucker. Oh, anyway, just too dumb. Except light doesn't stick to matter. So obviously it does. Light imposes momentum on matter. That's been proven over and over. It reflects. No, it either is absorbed or it reflects. Yes, those are two choices. It refracts is the same thing as going through. Or gets absorbed depending on context. Yes, so what do you think absorption is, jackass? That would be sticking, shit for brain. Oh, God. The standard model isn't perfect, but it isn't perfect. It isn't even, it's not in any sense comprehensible. There's no way you could show this. You could spend 6 hours explaining the standard model to 14-year-olds, and there's not a chance they're going to understand what the fuck you're talking about. Because all of it is woo. Higgs bosons. Well, they're not really things. They're not really a boson. They're not real. They're a field of it's like fish that are invisible and dark matter-y like. I mean, it's just crazy shit. Okay, anyway, I mean, you people are just so outrageously fucking hypocritical. You talk this wooey shit religion, and then pretend it's some sort of rational crap that somebody could understand. Nobody can understand this shit. Anyway, but it sure beats vague hand wave. So whatever this hand waving thing is, what are we talking about? I drew the damn fucking thing. Oh, you're just such pathetic little weasels. About stickiness. There's no talk about stickiness. It was just a simple argument that if it bangs into it and it's continuing to move, okay, like a flagellum on a cell or something, it's going to move the cell. That's all it's saying. It's just saying it doesn't give up because it hits something. It keeps pushing like a Sisyphus. I mean, that's hardly some insane theory. Oh, I can't possibly imagine. No, it's really easy to imagine. All right, and redefine all of physics into a cartoon of Sisyphus pushing rocks. Well, frankly, it's not a cartoon. It's a real mechanical concept. That the fact is that if you're moving a certain speed and I add 10 pounds, you're going to move a slower speed. And if I add 20 pounds, you're going to move even slower. If I add 30 pounds, you're going to move even slower. That's real physics, retard. All right, number 3. No strong force needed. Well, this one's so damn obvious. So the strong force is just this silly contrivance. They couldn't explain why protons are close together in nucleuses, so they just invented a fake new force that somehow pushes the protons together, right? And this fake new force, they ended up saying, okay, well, you have to have some mechanism, so they created this silly thing called a gluon that bangs into something and then pulls it back. So it's like a frog's tongue. It grabs onto the thing and then stretches and pulls it back. Yeah, that's their physics. That's their silly fucking story. And it's a silly fucking story. Completely contrived because they had no idea how it works. So they just invented a frickin' holy ghost to do it. All right, neutrons are just protons and electrons jammed together. Well, that's an absolute fact. That's a cool theory if you ignore beta decay. How am I ignoring beta decay? Just amazing. Amazing. Where did I ignore it? Where? What about beta decay proves anything? Okay, debunks in any way the fact that protons fly apart really fast when you knock the electron between them out. I explained the whole fucking thing. I explained how all of the half the force will be converted into pressure between the two objects, so they're going to fly apart at incredible velocities. So there's no ignoring it. I explained it clearly. Okay, and quantum chromodynamics, well, that's obviously, that's obviously the Holy Ghost's brother-in-law. Oh, what a pile of shit. So why do experiments detect quirks? Where? Show me the experiment. Show me the picture of a fucking quark. Show me anything indicating a quark exists except somebody supposing it must exist. All right? There's no evidence it exists. All right, gluons and neutrinos. So again, so you're just proving my point for me. You don't need evidence. I do. All right, I want to see something. I don't want you to tell me that, well, I have this picture inside the, the gas chamber, whatever you call it. I can't remember the name of the damn thing. Well, anyway, the alcohol thing, cloud chamber. And all of a sudden, a little thing pops out of nowhere and shoots. Okay. And they just make up a story telling you what did it. That's all they have. They don't have anything else. All right, because they are all imaginary, convenient. It's not convenient. It's an absolute truth. Well, show the evidence. Show me something other than a 1956 picture of a fucking positron. Oh, I mean, these people are just amazing, amazing liars. Photons aren't real, just force patterns. I said photons aren't real. I didn't say that. They're composite objects. So I don't know where he got that they aren't real. Yeah, no, that's bullshit. So now quantum electrodynamics. Yeah, garbage. Okay, that's their told two slit. It all goes wooey. The most precisely tested theory in science. So just such an outrageous lie. Okay, is wrong too. So show me these tests. Show me. Where's your test? Show me. Oh, you're just such liars. Got it. Instead, we get a force frequency reflection theory with zero equations. What equation do you need? I gave you the equation. I basically said, look, if it's going half the speed of light, it's going to have the frequency of anything it hits. And I made the analogy between red light and blue light. They are X-rays and ultraviolet. And that you can do these conversions quite easily. So another lie about what was stated. All right, zero evidence, 100% confidence. The fact is the simulation produces the effect, so I don't have, it works. The fact is it does produce Maxwell's drawings precisely. All right. Conventional physics are nerdy frauds. I don't think that's what I said. He just made up these quotes. I think I said they were skinny something others. But anyway, ad hominem attacks don't make your model stronger. Well, you're just wasting time, yeah. I'm just saying, obviously there's some ridicule and that's going to go back and forth in these conversations. That some of that can't be avoided. But it's hardly an extreme bit of ridicule to basically just say, these are people living in their own little fake world, okay? They're not living in reality. They're not real scientists. Okay. If Feynman's a fraud, Feynman's an idiot, an asshole. Okay, You talk about confidence before. You said it like twice. You don't think Feynman was full of himself? I mean, come on, it's just amazing. And Einstein just making it up. Well, Einstein clearly wasn't happy with any of it, frankly. And I think he would be perfectly willing to completely trash relativity to have a better answer to quantum mechanics. So clearly Einstein wasn't happy with a substantial portion of physics. Now his own wooey theory is still spooky action. I mean, his gravitational theory is spooky action. All right, just making it up for drama. Well, I certainly didn't say that. They're making it up because this is as far as their brain can go. So you don't think all religions are made up stories? That's what human beings do. They try to say what the hell's happening. And unfortunately, when they do it unreasonably and uncarefully, they just start believing in Sasquatch and flat Earth. Where's your Nobel Prize? Well, again, if that's the standard, okay, and I finally get my Nobel Prize, and then my Nobel Prize, I sign it with, go piss on this asshole's grave. He's mocking me before I've won my prize. So that means something? Fuck you, asshole. I mean, you're such a petty little weasel. I mean, really, go find this guy and piss on his grave, future. I mean, if I'm proven right and I did this miraculous thing and I sat here and tried to explain it to these fucking morons and I gave them every ability to understand, I showed them the fraud of what they believe. Again, Eddington's saying in his own fucking journal, I got 10% of the data quality. I wouldn't stake my life on these results. Why would we take that experiment seriously? Why would a scientist take that experiment seriously? Or even a peer review page? Oh, do you think that would meet? You think fucking Eddington's experiment would would measure up to peer review? You don't think a reviewer would say, what do you mean? You're doing an impossibly difficult experiment, very difficult, and you got 10% of the data quality? No fucking way you're publishing this horse shit. All right. Look, it's you question established science. Yeah, fuck you, you patronizing little weasel. Drowned in everyone's urine. That's how progress works. But replacing it with a system that rejects experimental validation. So it's just a lie. Fucking goddamn lie. I'm the one demanding experiments, motherfucker. I'm saying do the fucking goddamn experiment from space, you motherfucker. You're the one saying, no, we don't have to. No, we can't. No, we shouldn't do it. No, we shouldn't do the $1,000 experiment from space. That's what you're doing. That's what your people are doing. You're the ones opposing experiments, motherfucker. God, you're such a weasel. All right, dismiss evidence. Oh, fuck you. I'm done reading this shit. You're such a lying sack of goddamn garbage. Get what you fucking goddamn deserve, you piece of human garbage. I mean, you just can't die badly enough. Fucker. Ugh. People are just so disgusting. Human fucking race. Fucking goddamn pool of bugs. You're still fucking bugs. Obviously. Stupid, ignorant bugs. You got this giant brain. We spent thousands of years banging into brick walls and dead ends and drowning in quicksand to learn absolutely nothing. Because you motherfucking religious, stupid fucking idiots can't stand letting go of your totem poles. Ugh, this is so pathetic. Fuck you.